students was signed as an attack on the First Amendment. And somewhere in between it all, Trump's approval record is at a record high, while the Democrats are in disarray. So, a lot of D's there. Fortunately, we have an A-list panel to debate them from the political right, the left, and the centre. I'm joined by Benny Johnson from The Benny Show, executive producer and host of The Young Turks, Anna Kasparian. I'm the host of
Oh, he got her up there. All right.
Live with Brian Tyler Cohen. Brian Tyler Cohen, welcome to all of you. Okay, before we get into the D,
I'm the only one smiling, Piers. This is going to be a very bad D panel, very small D energy on this panel.
Well, before we get to D's, why don't we start?
I still didn't laugh.
Well, before we start with D's, let's start with S for signal. Okay, now Benny, I want to stare at you down the barrel of this camera, and I want you to try. I want you to try and imagine for a moment you're a Democrat. Okay?
Okay.
Can you do that?
All right. That's right. Okay, I can feel the self-loathing. All right.
You're a Democrat. And you heard about this story. You're outraged, right?
Sure.
Why are you outraged?
Well, because obviously it's so malevolent, evil, and dangerous for American politicians who have classified information to store them, and all of that classified information illegally on private servers inside of a water closet, being run totally offline by a bunch of goons that I've hired in order to keep my secrets secure. Also, when the Trump administration found out about this, they destroyed those servers, right? Where they smashed them, they got rid of them, they bleach bitted them. And that's how they treated our classified information. Oh my God, that was Hillary. I'm so sorry, Piers. I know this is a professional show. I apologize. Let's see. How am I going to do the cognitive dissonance when I voted for Hillary Clinton and then I allowed Joe Biden to be president while being totally mentally incapacitated, and somehow say that the president's administration is reckless with classified information, which it wasn't classified. No names, no targets, no locations.
How could it not be?
This is all a big hoax.
Benny.
The hoax.
Benny, I admire the rigorous whataboutery. I give you a little bit round of applause for the quality of the whataboutery. But how can you say...
I live for your applause.
I would say, how can you say with a straight face, but you are laughing quite maniacally, so I won't bother. But how can you say with a maniacally laughing face that it was not classified information? Because I can't, honestly, I've been wrestling with this since this story broke. I come from a lot of military in my family. How could specifics about an imminent attack 2 hours before it's about to happen on foreign soil involving American
It says time now, weather is favorable, and confirm what
armed forces, detailing times, detailing the type of aircraft, the type of weaponry, who the targets were. The group chat was named after the targets, right? How could that not constitute classified information? If that isn't classified information, given the time sensitivity of it and the information in those chats, what is?
Well, hold up. Wait a second, Piers. You're not in charge of what's classified and what's not. There's an entire system for that. And
you said it wasn't classified information.
That system was literally on a live panel. Curiously, that system was on a live panel before the Senate. Secretary of the Secretary of Intelligence is going to be Tulsi Gabbard, right? DNI. She's going to be the one who states classification, and she said that there was no classified material in that chat.
So just to be clear, you don't think...
I don't know why it was so hard for me to come up with DNI. No, my apologies.
That's okay. Probably because you're in DNI denial.
There's another D. There's another D. You got me, Piers.
It's DNI for denial. Self-denial is what you're in, Benny.
Okay, let me put this to rest. If you think I'm going to sit here and state that it was somehow wise or smart for an individual to add Jeffrey Goldberg, somebody who's pushed and pumped every single Trump hoax, including but not limited to getting us into the Afghanistan, Iraq wars, hoaxes about the 51 intel experts, the suckers and losers hoax. If you think that I'm going to sit here and defend that and say that that was wise to do that, or that these conversations should have been had on Signal, I don't think they should have been, to be quite honest with you. I'm not going to defend that, right?
Fair enough.
What I am going to do is say that there's people in... I don't think that was smart. In what universe would it be wise to add the guy who ran the suckers and losers hoax to your group chat for Trump.
Right.
It's
so in what universe? So my response would be, and it would be a question you would
not
ask.
Wise. Right.
Well, yeah, but my response to that would be, and I'll bring in the other panel members very shortly. My response to that would be, if it was the other way round, and this was under the Biden administration, you wouldn't just be saying it was unwise or a mistake.
Oh, you mean?
You would say.
Oh,
yeah,
you mean?
Hang on. I haven't asked you a question. You would say, hang on a second. The National Security Advisor for the United States of America added a journalist that hates Trump and the administration to a highly
I appreciate you for hitting Hunters. I see that.
classified, probably illegal because they're not supposed to do that on Signal, conversation about an imminent attack on foreign soil involving American military. You would demand
keep saying
that.
it's illegal.
Hang on. Here's the question.
Not up to you,
Here's
pal.
the question.
It's not up to you.
Here's my question. Here's my question for you. You would have said that National Security Advisor should be fired, wouldn't you?
Oh, well, hold on. So Mike Waltz has gone on TV and he's been in front of a ton of reporters saying that he doesn't know this guy and he doesn't have his contact information. He's never met him. And President Trump last night said that it was one of his staffers.
So the National Security...
Exactly.
No, to be clear. Hang on.
The story is not cut and dry.
Waltz himself said on Laura Ingraham it wasn't one of the staffers, it was him. Right? So he added this person and then said, you know what may have happened here? I just think the guy's name and number were the wrong way.
So hold up. They showed everything? Like, yo, that's crazy.
It wasn't the right person to the right number. This guy's the National Security Advisor for the United States of America. He doesn't even know how to make his contacts list on his phone secure.
So
should he be fired?
Again,
yes or no? Before I bring the others in.
That's not up to me, man. That's up to President Trump, and he says no.
Okay.
President Trump.
What y'all think? Y'all think he should be fired or no?
President Trump says no. He's not my employee.
Okay.
And also, there's so much going. There's so many other things going on.
I'm going to come to the other things.
Technical glitch.
All right.
They're bringing in Elon Musk.
I'm going to bring that. We're going to bring that stuff in. We're going to get to the D's.
And the fact that they had a lawsuit ready to go, like the day afterwards, and it leaked the day before the Senate panel, and then that lawsuit gets given to Judge Boasberg. I don't know, man. How many coincidences do you believe in, Piers? Is this like some Christmas miracle for Democrats that need one right now? I don't know.
American homeowners are at risk of a growing real estate scam, which the FBI calls house stick crime. So it's a massive conspiracy theory, and he was deliberately added to this group for some nefarious reason, is the new theory from Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all just, I mean, it's bullshit. Like Benny is just flailing because he can't accept reality right now. And he knows full well that if the tables were turned, he would be going on a scorched earth tirade about how all of these people should resign or worse, be prosecuted or criminally. I mean, like, what are we even doing here? Are you that much of a partisan hack that you can't just acknowledge? The problem is this administration is so incapable of taking the L that they would rather just entrench and prolong these problems even more.
Which I think is a really good, I think that's a good point, because Trump, that comes from Trump. Trump is on, Trump's told me, you never ever admit you lose at anything. You just barrel down.
It's the Roy Cohn School of it's the Roy Cohn School of Management. It's that these guys they're so focused on ego, so focused on protecting their own asses, that instead of just being able to like take the L, which by the way, people would respect a hell of a lot more.
I'm not sure about that. I think they're focused on showing Americans what they've accomplished in a short period of time. You know what I mean? Like, this is a serious hiccup. You know what I mean? But I think they're just trying to focus on that and steer the country that way instead of focusing on the negativity. But I mean, that's a big deal. That's a very
I agree.
And Pete Hegseth coming out and saying, I did not discuss any war plans, only for Jeffrey Goldberg to release the very next day a detailed account of exactly the war plans that he was releasing.
Yeah. I mean, look, I know Pete. I like Pete.
Even the Atlantic has changed their words.
But
changed their story here. The Atlantic says, "Oh, now it's an attack."
What's up, Carlos? He's got the $2 donation. He said it's over. Shout out to you, man.
It's an attack plan. It's not a war plan.
Well, what
And
would
it's
you
not
call
exactly-
this?
they
What would you-
scrubbed-
okay,
they
but what would you
scrubbed
call this?
classification.
Look,
All of this
Here,
hinges
Benny,
on
Benny,
what's
hang on, no,
classified
Benny,
and what's not.
I'm going to bring Anna in here because
What's
she's not
classified and
allowed to
what's
speak
not?
yet.
Pierce, yeah, am I just
hang
here to
on,
look
Anna.
pretty? I'd like to
I'm
weigh
going to
in
come
on
to
this a
Anna.
little
I'm going to
bit.
read
Yeah.
you first of
Listen,
all. I'm going to read you one of the things that Pete Hegseth says was not a war plan. Weather is favourable, just confirmed with CENTCOM. We are a go for mission launch. 2:15. Strike drones on target. This is when the first bombs will definitely drop. If that's not a bloody war plan, what is? What is?
I'm not going.
Anna.
I'm not gonna defend adding
No,
Jeffrey
Anna,
Goldberg to this
Anna.
chat. I'm not defending. I'm not
I'm
gonna
asking
defend it.
Anna.
But
I
you
think
did,
that's-
Benny.
I
The
think
first thing you
that could-
did
that
was engage
is-
in whataboutism.
It's a war plan.
That's the first thing you did in an effort to provide cover for this obvious, massive, colossal mistake and error that was made by members of the Trump cabinet. Let's just keep it 100. Look, Brian is correct in calling out the hackery that is going on in the media right now, depending on which party, the member of the media
Double tap the screen, y'all. They trying to slow this video down. Shout out to y'all.
is supportive of. They're going to provide cover for bad behavior, but immediately change tune when it's a member of their own party or preferred party engaging in the same activity. Fact of the matter is, what Hillary Clinton did with her email server was wrong. We condemned it at TYT. I continue to condemn it today. The massive error that was made by Trump administration officials, not just by the inclusion of Jeffrey Goldberg in that group text, but the fact that they were using Signal to communicate, which is not a secure way of communicating about classified information. Whatever plans they have, whatever strikes they intend to do in other countries, they should not be using the Signal app to be doing that. It is okay to call a spade, even if it's your own preferred party engaging in the bad behavior. But that's the problem, Pierce. We have nothing but hacks in the media in America now, where you're so obsessed with your own precious little tribe that you put your entire country on the back burner because you don't care about the country. You care about whatever political figure you're doing propaganda for. It is pathetic. Okay, look at our economy right now. Consumer sentiment down the drain. Okay, Federal Reserve is not lowering interest rates further because of the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty in our economy that's going to negatively impact households. Inflation continues to be sticky. We have so many serious issues to deal with, and we're never going to come up with a damn solution because we have two sides that are covered by two, hack groups of media figures who provide cover for failed solutions to very real problems in this country. That's the real issue here.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not interested in the whataboutism. I'm not interested in pretending as though Democrats are perfect or Republicans are perfect. What happened with Jeffrey Goldberg was a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. And if they just take responsibility for it, we'll all move on.
You
But
know what?
that's the other thing. No one ever takes responsibility. Ever.
I totally
Trump said
agree.
it was a mistake.
I totally
Trump
agree.
said it was a mistake. Trump said it was a mistake.
said it was
I've
a
said it was a
mistake.
mistake.
Like, what we gonna
Many
keep,
people
like,
on
going in
the
on
like
them?
many people in the chatosphere
Benny,
have
you
said
started
this.
off.
Benny.
You couldn't even bring
You
yourself
started
to
off
not
with
do
Hillary
what
Clinton.
no
What are you going to bring up
adding
from
Jeffrey
decades ago? You're going to bring up
Goldberg
other stuff.
There's no defending adding Jeffrey Goldberg. The entire argument that everyone on this panel is making, I'm perfectly happy to fight all of you, is that they shared classified information. The administration says, no, you're not the arbiters of that. That would be what the entire case hinges on. That would be what all of the controversy hinges on. And so you're going to have to
Why did they just
specify
use
the
X?
classified
Why don't you
information.
just do that?
Benny,
We know
Benny,
that it's
Benny,
not
this-
classified.
we know that
Just
Joe
do
Biden-
it next.
hang
Let's
on.
all read
We know
each
that Joe
shape
Biden had
as it's happening
classified
in real
information.
time.
Okay,
It's not
Benny,
classified.
according to
It's
her
not
report,
classified.
according to her
Time
report,
out.
Joe
Time
Biden,
out. As I
Joe Biden
said,
had classified information
Benny,
in his garage
Benny,
next to his Corvette.
Benny,
Hillary Clinton had classified
Benny,
information. That's what was
Benny,
determined
Benny, I get
by
it.
an investigation.
I just cannot think of anything that could be more highly classified than to actually be discussing war plans for an imminent attack on foreign soil involving American military.
Somebody in the chat, Bob Johnson says someone should be in jail. Yo.
To me, it's indisputably highly classified. Otherwise, what else is?
Especially in front of a journalist that hates you. Especially in front of a journalist that hates you. I hope that they find the person that added Jeffrey Goldberg and then that they fire him.
It was my
Because
wolf.
I just think
It was my wolf. He's
I
admitted
can't
it.
imagine a stupider. I can't imagine a worse thing to do. I'm not going to defend that.
Okay.
Everyone knows that.
All right.
It's a mistake. That's a terrible mistake.
But we know who
Period.
it was. I mean, Brian, let me bring in Brian. We know from the
Here's
we
who
know
it
from the
was.
screen grab.
This is
It says added by Mike Waltz. And by the way, Mike Waltz clarified last night on Laura Ingraham, it wasn't a staffer. Brian, your final word on this, then we're going to change topic.
Look, again, I just want to dig into one misnomer that Benny is putting forward, this idea that it wasn't classified and so it's okay. This is some clever little trick that Republicans and Trump are trying to do. Trump is the ultimate classification authority. So he thinks that if he can just come forward and say, well, I'm declassifying it, then that will absolve everybody in retrospect. But they know full well that this kind of material, when you are talking about an imminent attack prior to it happening, notwithstanding the fact that Jeffrey Goldberg was there, notwithstanding the fact that it's on an unsecured app. But of course, by nature, this stuff is classified. And again, if Benny didn't have his head so far up the Republican Party's ass, he would be able to recognize that if somebody with a D next to their name was doing the exact same thing.
Well, to be fair to Benny,
I'm not really.
To be fair to Benny, he said it was a big mistake. He said that there should be accountability. He's not tried to shirk away from that. He simply questioned whether we are the right arbiters for what is classified information. It's a reasonable point. The question will be, will there be a proper investigation to get to the bottom of it? I think it's indisputable. But
let me try something. Piers, please let me respond to that. Yes?
Sure.
Okay. So, Brian, you're not in charge of what's classified and what's not. Now, I'm perfectly happy to let all that play out. Let's fine. Do an investigation. Figure out what's classified and what's not. We know that Hillary Clinton had classified information on a private server and that she destroyed it. We know that. That's confirmed.
You're not even capable of not talking about Hillary Clinton, are you?
Why you don't want him talking about Hillary Clinton? You talking about this?
Okay, fine. Let's fast forward. Joe Biden. We know that he had classified information next to his Corvette.
Are you able to recognize the issue right in front of us instead of talking about previous Democratic presidents?
Answer me the question. Is it wrong? Is it wrong for Hillary and Joe to do it?
Is it wrong for them to be reckless with classified information? Absolutely.
There we go.
It's not that hard.
Okay.
It's not that hard to take accountability for when somebody fucks up on your own side.
Okay, should something have happened to them? Yeah, and I'm saying that it was something. I'm saying.
Yeah, should something. I mean, this is different, but should something happen to Hillary Clinton for losing emails?
That I'm waiting for the classification to figure out what was.
It is two completely different things, though. Like for real.
Well, something did happen. Something did happen to both of them.
For that are saying that this wasn't.
Well, something did happen to both of them. They both lost elections.
And Signal.
Well, hang on. They both lost elections to Donald Trump soon after they were embroiled in classified information issues. Anyway, let's change tack. Anna, let's talk about the first 3 months nearly of Trump's second term. It's been very Trumpian, very sort of chaotic on one level. Other people see method to the madness. I'm kind of one of them. I think there've been some clear wins. What's happened on the border is borderline, for want of a better phrase, miraculous. You know, the volume of people pouring over the southern border illegally has been stemmed almost to nothing, which is an incredible achievement. Would you agree with that before we go into other issues? I don't always pick the health.
Lower volume of, I mean, that has certainly worked, yes.
Right.
And look, what's mirrored by your comments is what you see in the polling. You know, the one area in which Trump continues to do quite well is the area in immigration. So I think the American people overall have been giving him pretty high grades on immigration, despite the fact, you know, I personally have had a few issues with innocent people, including, again, American citizens getting rounded up in this mess. But you know, my point
to the principle
from previously still remains that, you know, the Biden administration's failures on the border created a groundswell of support for Trump or Trumpian immigration policies. And I think Democrats need to take responsibility for that, to be quite frank. Because there wouldn't be that groundswell of support if it weren't for the mistakes made by the Biden administration.
I completely agree. I mean, Brian, it is inarguable, surely, that they have brought the southern border crisis, which is what it was, under control. This issue of what should be done with illegal immigrants who are criminals is, again, hugely popular with the American people to deport them. And my question would be, I'm not an American, but I have a home there. I've been coming to America for a long time. If I was to break the law as a non-American, I'd be straight on a plane out of there with my visa revoked, right? I mean, it's not difficult. Why should the same logic not apply to illegal immigrants who are criminals?
if they are criminals, then they should be. Look, I'm not here to defend somebody who's done something wrong, who wants the privilege of being in the country. If they've done something, if they've committed criminal activity, then of course I'm for that as well. My issue, which Anna alluded to, is the fact that folks who are not criminals are getting swept up because we've completely abdicated the whole concept of due process in all of this. And so I think that that's still important. I think that look,
MSNBC got Rachel Maddow going in. Hold on. I knew this was gonna happen, bro. We gonna watch some fake news real quick.
President Trump has not fired anyone for this debacle, which is astonishing. He did confess to NBC News in a new interview that he sees this as a, quote, glitch. A glitch. He said this scandal has been, quote, the only glitch in 2 months. This is kind of emerging as his take on this scandal. He told reporters yesterday, they've made a big deal out of this because we've had 2 perfect months. Essentially saying that this scandal with all of his senior appointees, including his White House chief of staff, all discussing these forthcoming battle plans over Signal in a group text that they didn't notice included a journalist. He thinks this is all a hoax. This is now, he's used the phrase witch hunt. This has all been ginned up as if it's something bad. They're trying to make it look bad because he's otherwise had 2 perfect months. This is the only thing that even looks bad. Everything else has been. And
she had to say it like she don't know what to say it like, because that's true. This is the only Rachel, this is the only thing that looks bad on him. That's it. That's it. Like, I mean, other than that, you ain't got nothing to say. She ain't, bro. Rachel Maddow, she been pulling from every direction trying to make Trump look bad, and there's nothing she could do. Now she finally has something. So it's interesting that she says that.
Oh, I will just say, between you and me, you have been alive for these past 2 months. And you...
Yeah, and we've been seeing Donald Trump be a president in front of our faces. Everything is televised. Everything is live. Like, what did you... Like, so what? I mean, he's done just about everything he said he was going to do. You couldn't really say nothing. She's like, you've been alive. Yes.
You have experienced what the first 2 months of this Trump term have been like. Do you think that Trump is right, that it's all been totally perfect? This has been the only glitch?
Mostly, yes.
I mean, just, you know.
She ain't got, Rachel Maddow ain't got nothing to say, bro. She ain't got nothing to say. Yeah, it's like, I think he has, bro, what president since you guys have been alive, first 2 months been like this? I've never seen nothing like this before.
Back of the envelope scratching here. It was a week or so after he was sworn in, January 29th, a jet carrying 64 people hit an Army helicopter above the Potomac River outside Reagan National Airport in D.C.
Y'all act like what? Trump wasn't flying that aircraft. She is crazy. What is she talking about? Yeah, things happen. Like that ain't nothing like he did. Yo, Rachel Maddow, is this fake? This is what I'm talking about. Y'all be wanting me to watch the fake news? This news is fake, bro. What is she saying? What did he have to do with that? Happy Mac said, agree, he's doing what he said he was going to do. Somebody said it was a big glitch, though. Yeah, she is a nut job. Like, what does this have to do with? Like, how, bro, Rachel Maddow, bro. She is ridiculous.
Everybody on both aircraft killed. The day before that collision, he had offered air traffic controllers all across the country a somewhat threatening buyout, trying to basically beg them to leave government service. Less than a week later, Trump reversed course. Oh, actually, no, maybe that's a bad idea. Air traffic controllers, please don't leave. That same week was when we started to get the headlines about the kids who Trump's top campaign donor, Elon Musk, had brought in to his new agency to work with him to destroy the federal government. Turns out one DOGE...
Destroy the federal government. No, it's not to destroy. It's to make sure that the federal government is operating, like, not going over budget. And to find the bloat that's going on in the American government and the you know what I'm saying? Like, to stop giving money to terrorist organizations and to stop giving money to organizations that are corrupt. Like, what is she talking about, bro?
Staffer actually had to resign when it came out that he had a since deleted social media account in which he had advocated for loud and proud racism and racial human breeding tactics through eugenics. They soon hired him back. Another DOGE staffer had been previously fired from a cybersecurity firm for leaking.
Bro, is she going to staffers now? That's how low she's going? Bro, you know how many staffers under Biden administration did craziness? His son didn't even did craziness. He didn't pardon him. This dude pardoned Fauci. This is a staffer. Like, bro, what you do outside of work, as long as you not like, you know what I'm saying, the head of a company or something, you know what I mean? You do whatever you want to do outside of work. This is America. You feel however you want to feel, whatever. As long as you ain't, like, hurt nobody or doing nothing. Like, I mean, what is she doing? Like, she can't say that about Elon Musk. Now they trying to ignore Jasmine Crockett. She just did you know how they was going at Elon Musk for doing this? Doing that hand thing? Now they're ignoring that Jasmine Crockett just did it. They don't want to say nothing about that. They want to talk about a staffer on DOGE. What? How is this like a terrible thing for Trump? She is crazy, bro.
Company secrets. He also worked at a startup that hired convicted hackers. He went by the online moniker Big Balls. We would later learn that Trump and Elon Musk, in their infinite wisdom, specifically gave Big Balls, who again had been fired from a previous job at a cybersecurity firm for leaking company secrets.
What you mean Jasmine Crockett didn't do that? Yes, she did. I'll show it to you right now. What are you talking about? Let's go to Elon Musk. Said she didn't do that. Yes, she did. I think Elon even posted it. You know, he not about to let Jasmine Crockett slide. She been talking way too reckless, bro. Elon tweets a lot, man. Jesus. I thought I tweeted a lot. He be tweeting like crazy. See what I'm saying? What you mean she ain't do it? Can I get an apology, please? Can I get a like or something? Because you said she didn't do it. She did. And it says, holy crap. Is this Jasmine Crockett doing a Nazi salute? Yo, I might. You know what? I'm changing the title, bro. Since y'all want to... Yeah, Jasmine Crockett up there wildin'. Hold on. Let's do this. Jasmine Crockett. Crockett. How you say her name? Crockett. Under fire. Yeah. How about that? Oh shit. Guess what? You know what I'm doing now? Since you want to do that? You want to cap on me? Let's do this. Yes, Jasmine Crockett's out here wildin'.
Trump and Musk gave that specific kid access to the systems at the top U.S. cybersecurity agency. Great choice. Then Trump fired the staff of the nation's nuclear security agency, the people who oversee the nation's nuclear weapons stockpile. Then Trump scrambled to
said you got to keep your hands to your side now.
Fire all of those nuclear safety workers because oops, but in many cases they couldn't figure out how to reach them because in their infinite wisdom they forgot to collect contact information from those nuclear security workers before cutting them all off from their government email accounts. This includes people with Q-level security clearances who are cleared for access to our nation's top nuclear secrets. Those are great folks to lose track of and to fire for no cause. Trump then fired people at the CDC in charge of tracking the ongoing bird flu outbreak. That turned out...
She is ridiculous. I don't hear Rachel right now. Rachel fake news.
Meaning of Hot Wheels. The Texas congresswoman still won't apologize over making fun of Texas Governor Abbott's disability. Here's what she said that kicked it off.
We in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Whoa.
And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So,
Now she claims that she wasn't talking about Abbott's wheelchair at all. Yet she's mentioned Abbott's wheels before. In 2022, she posted Beto's rolling around the state. Where's Abbott rolling to? And according to the Washington Free Beacon, Crockett also liked several Facebook comments referring to Abbott as Hot Wheels back in 2021. But is Jazz having an identity crisis? This is her now.
it's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard.
I mean, this dude gotta be knocked over his head. Like, bro, y'all be picking the wrong people to represent us. Like, what is y'all doing?
Right?
Her wig is like all out of place. Like, what is this, bro?
Like, there is no niceties with him. And to be clear, free speech is not about whatever it is that y'all want somebody to say. And the idea that you want to shut down everybody that is not Fox News is bull. We need to stop playing.
She is way too ghetto. I can't take her, bro.
Because that's what y'all are doing in here.
But wait, this was her before she went to D.C.
It's good to see you in the new year.
She gets up there in D.C. and she ghetto.
No one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was. But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need.
Tyrus! I come to you for no particular reason. Can you please explain to me what happened to that young, smart,
I'll take it from there, Gus. I'm going to explain to you what happened.
Okay.
Same thing that happened on this show.
Yes.
She got the job. That was the get the job voice. Remember when I first met you? Good evening, Gus. Oh, it's
Yes.
nice to meet you. It's a real pleasure to be here. Oh, cool. Once I got the job, what it is, let's crack jokes. So that's all it is.
Hey, somebody said she turned Congress to the Waffle House. Like, yo, bro.
That's all it is. You know, just you gotta to get the job. You know, you gotta leave the Negro at home and do the what it is afternoon, and then once you get in, you can say whatever you want to say. Listen, everyone talks different with their crew and their people. Everyone has a different way of talking when they're with other people or whatever. She's too comfortable. And she thinks she's clever when she does that. But here's the cold part. Somebody's writing that for her.
Yeah.
That's why she had to remember and look back, because apparently Hot Wheels she thought was going to be someone thought it was a wonderful joke and it was going to do well. So she set it up, but she doesn't read good because she's like, and this, and then she said the Hot Wheels, and as soon as she said it, it didn't get the reaction that she thought it would. So then she paused again. So again, when you have people writing, this is why when white people write black slang, weird happens.
Yeah.
And this is what happens.
Well,
Like, if I wanted to get ethnic on somebody, I wouldn't call Joe and be like, "Hey, Joe, write me some hood." Like, no offense, Tyrus, I get right to it. Gee Willikers, that's not the guy. What? That doesn't sound like Joe Mackey?
listen, I can write you some hood. White people crazy. They pay taxes, stuff like that.
She's not standing up for everyday Americans. She fighting for illegal immigrants, bro. She is not standing up for me or you. That's the delusion that the Democrats got y'all under. Why do you think they opening up the border and doing no voter ID states? And Joe Rogan is saying, I'm not saying that this happened, but Joe Rogan said it. Like they were busing illegals to no voter ID states. Like, come on, bro. They don't care about you or me. That's why Chicago now is like not trying to do anything about the flood of immigration. You know what they want to do? They want to raise property taxes to pay for the people's services who are here illegal. You think New York City cares about all the Democrats that are hurting and having difficulty paying rent? No. You know what the Democrats care about? Safe havens for illegal immigrants. They were giving them $350 a week in food vouchers. Eric Adams didn't stop doing that until Trump got elected. Democrats don't care about you or me. They care about them because they're going to come here and not be asking for reparations. They're just going to go and vote Democrat. That's what they care about. She ain't standing up for me or you. She's standing up for illegal immigrants. That's what her, what's her name, AOC, that's what they all do. And they spread propaganda.
Crazy ass crackers going to the movies and not talking. She is showing up on time.
And then what they do is they prey on your delusions. They prey on your emotions because black people, we are very emotional people. We are. A lot of times, you know what I mean? It's what it is. People get mad. They want to fight all the time over another. Like, we are very emotional. And they play to your emotions. Watch MSNBC or CNN. They're playing to your emotions. That's all they do. We shall overcome this. You know how we can overcome it? Y'all stop allowing these illegal immigrants to flood in here. They didn't care about you or me. They cared about trying to get Trump convicted the whole presidency of Biden. Weaponizing the DOJ. They didn't care about you or me. She getting up there talking ghetto and y'all liking it. And she ain't saying nothing.
Didn't you work for?
Yes, all people are emotional, but we are incredibly emotional.
Were you on the Def Jam comedy?
I've done every urban. You can only hold the white man down so long. I was the first white comic on Def Jam. It was on for 5 years.
Hey, Lynette, you know what the Republicans care about? Passing a historic middle class tax cut. That's what they care about. You know what they care about? Getting these illegal immigrants out of the country so that, you know, a lot of the jobs that are here, Americans who live here can get those jobs. That's what they care about. You know what they care about? Not giving Zelensky hundreds of billions of dollars to do whatever he wants to do. That's what they care about. They care about trying to save Social Security. You know, the Democrats ran off of it for so long. Oh, Social Security is under attack. Republicans don't care about Social Security. Well, the Republicans are trying to balance the budget and get rid of bloat so that we can have Social Security in the future. That's what they care about. Democrats don't care about nothing like that.
And I went on, and so
Were you the token?
What's that?
Were you the token?
I hate myself. I was so this was 25 years ago. And, if I went on now, I would just sit down and talk. I walked out like, I'm like, like,
Trump saying, hey, nobody that makes under $150,000 should be getting taxed. That's what Trump, I've never heard a Democrat say that. What did Trump say? No taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips. That's what they care about. It sounds like they care about the working class Americans. Yeah, they're going to give billionaires some sort of, kickbacks too. I think different. I think the people that create jobs, hire people, paying people like a portion of people's health care and giving people make enough money to pay all their bills and stuff like that. People who have these Fortune 500 companies or people that have all of these employees, I think they should get something. I'm not sitting out here creating a whole bunch of jobs. Like, you know what I'm saying? If he's willing to give me a tax break, cool. Right? And he's looking out for the American, worker. But yeah, I think rich people should get something. They pay a lot of taxes. There's a lot of taxes they don't pay, and there's a lot of taxes they do pay. You think you pay more taxes than somebody who owns a Fortune 500 company? Do you think that? They might not get taxed on everything. They got deductions, but they still pay a lot of money in taxes. So, I think they should get something. They're creating jobs. Like, what is the incentive to create jobs in America if you're getting nothing? Like, we can't just hate the rich all like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what?
And I
get we be jealous that they got a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But this ain't communism. This is America. We having a market.
Back at it. I did grow up in an all-black neighborhood in Princeton, and
People be so jealous. Yeah, I want a yacht too. I want like a.
This is another day.
Me too. Yeah, but I mean, I ain't out here like having these companies to get that.
And another disaster by the Democrats. The reality is they have no vision, no policy. They have nothing to sell but hate. And Americans are not buying it. It's one reason why Texas is going to remain red and why Republicans are going to continue to win elections across the country. The bottom line is that Republicans.
So what, you want these billionaires? So hold on. You want these people that create all of these companies, you want them to make like $50,000 a year? Why don't y'all move to China if that's how you think? You don't want to live in China. Why? Because you don't want the government like super censoring you. Like, I mean, Democrats was trying to censor us when Joe Biden was in here, but y'all love that, right? Remember, you couldn't say nothing. You couldn't even talk about politics when Biden was in office. Mark Zuckerberg came out on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about he getting threatened to pull down people's posts and all that. Y'all remember all of that? That's under the Democrats. You don't remember the Twitter files? None of that? That's Democrats. Just because they can make you emotional and make, like, bro, they don't, what are you talking about?
Republican states like Texas are leading the way in
taking TikTok away from you, doing like those are Democrats. Y'all crazy.
With comments like this by Democrats, we will just leave them in.
Move to China and Mexico if that's what you like. Why do you think people are moving here trying to create businesses? You want to have something out of life. Leave your kids something. How you gonna leave your kids something? You creating all these jobs, and then you getting taxed to death to where you're making $30,000 a year. Like, no.
The dust in future elections.
Okay, so the governor is saying exactly what I would expect him to say, which is to not even take the bait, but just stick to what the facts are. And the facts are Republicans are unified, and if she's going to be the person who talks on behalf of the Democrats,
everybody want to come to America because America's so bad. Like, what? It's ridiculous.
Party.
God, so jealous. You just hate rich people. Like, let's just say it. I live around rich people, right? And I be asking rich people questions like, yo, what do you invest in? You know what they tell me? You know why? Because they don't want people like me coming into their house. Give it up. They're like, yeah, I invest in this, I invest in that, I invest in this. Oh, you do this? Okay, well, you need tax breaks for this and tax breaks for this. You need to get an LLC for this. You need to get a C Corp for this. This is how they talk. Y'all act like they be hiding secrets. Just welcome to a rich person and ask some questions. Like, y'all just want things handed to you. And it be the Democrats complaining about Elon Musk and Trump. Where's my $5,000? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like don't want to work for nothing.
Newsflash, Republicans will welcome it every single time. Now, to make my point even further, here's Scott Jennings saying just that.
I don't know how the Democrats came to appoint Jasmine Crockett as the unquestioned leader of your party, but thank God. And I think what she should do is go on.
I don't think you should have to pay a whole lot of taxes if you're rich. I don't get mad. The goal is to be rich. I want to be rich. I don't want to have to be paying. Like, do y'all like working and paying all of this money? Like, no, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, guess what? You know what Cardi B said? She was just like, yo, every time I make $1 million, 200,000 of it is gone in taxes. Have you paid $200,000 in taxes? Have you? You know what that feel like? They pay a lot of money. Rich people pay a lot of money in tax. It's just different. They may not get taxed the same way you get taxed, but they pay taxes on a whole lot of other things.
On TV twice as much as she is right now, maybe 3 times as much, because
Jimmy said, why should a billionaire get a kickback? He's got billions of dollars. Because he got the businesses. That's why. Otherwise, you ain't gonna have no job. They have the services. You don't think Jeff Bezos should be getting kickbacks? He made your life easier. You ain't got to go to Walmart. You ain't got to go to Target. You can sit at home and order everything you want. He got thousands and thousands of employees that got jobs. You don't think he should get no kickback? I don't like going to stores if I don't have to. I got like 12 things coming to my house today. Life has been easier with Amazon for me. I ain't got to go to Best Buy. I ain't got to, you know what I mean? Yeah, he should get a kickback for that. Yeah, well, his workers don't make $100,000 a year. Well, they shouldn't have signed a contract. Ain't nobody holding a blick to your head telling you work for whatever company. If you don't like, you know what I do? If I don't like where I work at and I feel like I don't make enough money, I go somewhere else. Somebody gonna pay me more money.
Every time she appears and makes one of these mistakes, says something radical, it only further...
You know what's called democratic entitlement. How y'all be feeling? Y'all be feeling certain ways. You don't understand the market. When you start investing money into the stock market, you start seeing things different. I'm kind of a part of a lot of companies, I feel like, right? You know, and I'll be looking at, you know, the quarterly earnings, what they make, what they bring in, like the amount of money that's being spent on labor. I'll be looking at that. I never looked at that before until I started investing. I'm like, oh, this is a whole different story now. But if you're not investing, you don't realize stuff like that.
Divides her party from the rest of the other 80% of America who can't stand this. But the problem is there's an audience for it. I heard Jimmy Kimmel's audience cheering on Tesla vandalism. I hear the Daily Show audience cheering on attacks on Elon Musk. I hear the human rights audience cheering on an attack on a man in a wheelchair. And I realize this is what the left has become. An angry mob of people who are cheering on attacks on a guy in a wheelchair and vandalism against people who bought a Tesla. It's pathetic.
It is downright pathetic, but I don't believe Democrats actually.
You think this dude knows how to trade? Y'all, if you probably new to this channel, right? I went live and actively traded before on this channel. This was back when I only had $100,000. So, I mean, I got 3 Teslas. I've got a Cybertruck. I got a Model 3, a Model Y. I own a house. I've got hot tubs. This is like the second, you know what I'm saying, place. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, what more do I have to do? Like, what do I got to show you 370 grand in your face and trade it? Start doing it again? Like, what do you have? Don't think because I have a hat on, I have no bread. That's not real. Like, what are you saying? Y'all be broke as hell, like wanting everything for free. Work, get money, invest. Things happen.
Actually care. Now, on the Republican side, conservatives or anybody that leans right,
Jacob,
we don't really mind the behavior. Clearly, it's a turnoff. But as far as politics is concerned and elections are concerned, we will encourage this. Now, this is actually happening, if you really care to know. It's because the party has no leadership, so they can't actually reach out to her and tell her to fall in line. She's not listening to anybody like that. Who really has the control of the Democratic Party right now? Donald Trump, the president. That's who. Anyways, here is Speaker Mike Johnson.
I didn't get 370 grand like with my hand out. I had to figure out ways to get money. I had to ask people. I had to go to golf courses, play golf, ask people questions, do research. No Democrat helped me.
Kind of repeating the same thing that Scott Jennings just said. Take a look.
Axios reported yesterday that Democrats are, quote, in their deepest hole in nearly 50 years. This is not a mystery. Everyone understands what's happening and why. In their haste to oppose President Trump in our efforts to make government more efficient, Democrats are cutting off their noses to spite their own face. Look, I made a list.
But I got to get out of here. I got to go to work. I got to make some money. You know what I'm saying? I got to go to work. I can't be doing this and have Section 8 and all. You know what I'm saying? Get mad. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody. Somebody said, hold on. I'm not reading no more free Democrat comments.
to this. They're cheering the decline of an American company which employs over 100,000 workers. They refuse to celebrate the return of stranded American astronauts because SpaceX facilitated their return. Without a hint of irony, they're trading in their electric vehicles for SUVs, as was noted earlier. All right, they publicly refuse to stand for a childhood cancer survivor, victims of violent crimes during President Trump's joint address. Their message has gone from, it's more than just anti-Trump now, it's anti-American.
Now, how do we know what Speaker Mike Johnson is the truth? Well, it's because progressives have this anti-American attitude.
He said, break bread, bro. Don't listen to that. I be trolling them back. That's all it is.
Just look at the policies that they're fighting for, right? They would rather give more attention, energy, and benefits and resources to illegal aliens than actual.
Spend more time looking for free stuff than like working for stuff. Got opinions, free opinions. Like, don't be giving up, bro. I'll be having like it be Republicans in here, like on some of these that like $100 like super chat, $50 super chat, $20 super chat, $10 super chat, super chat, gifting memberships, doing all of that. Like, do they even hit the like button? Like, get out of here.
Veterans, people have served our country. So no, they're not fighting for working families. They're fighting for more government control, socialism.
Hey, look, H, I would destroy Jasmine Crockett in a debate, bro. Have you heard her talk?
They're not building a brighter future. They're tearing our future down, right, in the present moment. Now, here she is getting caught in another lie because we know she tried to walk back her comments. This is from In Wokeness, but the actual source is Free Beacon, where they discovered that, what was this, 4 years ago? She liked a post where someone else called the governor Hot Wheels. And this just proves our point even more. Now, you know the president of the United States is paying attention to everything that's happening, right? She's been getting so much attention. He had to respond. Here's what he said this morning about Jasmine Crockett.
She lies, but she's a lowlife. And she's a very low IQ person and a lowlife. And I don't imagine the Democrats are going to.
Yo, imagine the president of the United States calling you a lowlife. Yo, like, what? That's crazy, bro. Like,
have a person like that running that party. If they do, and they'll never win an election again, it would be very hard. But I can't imagine she's going to last long.
And what do you think of Governor Gavin Newsom's?
You know, to be smart, you do need a brain. You know, you can't get around with little quips. And I've only heard her for the last couple of days, and I watched her make a speech, and she can't speak. And she truly is a low-level person on the very important chart of intelligence.
Yeah, so he brings up actually a good point, because I believe whoever's telling Democrats to do what they're doing, you can argue is low IQ. I mean, they're starting to curse more. They're trying to look like 16-year-olds on TikTok. They think screaming is the answer. Silent on this vandalism against Tesla. Yeah, I think he makes a good point there. And by the way, I don't think it's the Democrats' strength to play Donald Trump's game. There's a reason why he's the president again. He can get away with being hyperbole or calling people out or being rude, even sometimes to his own detriment. It turns people off, but it works for him. It doesn't work for Democrats. And how do you know what we're saying is true? Well, when you have people on the left actually agreeing with this assessment of Jasmine Crockett and the party, I think that tells you everything you need to know.
Here's how I see it. She's new. Mm-hmm. She's young. She's trying to find her way. I think that this party is scrambling, trying to seem tough, and I'm seeing this party traffic in a lot of curse words. That's supposed to be like the new cool thing to do. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be as useful. I even heard Pete Buttigieg with a whole bunch of curse words. Yeah. I don't know who gave that.
Democrats don't even like her, bro. Like, what? That's crazy.
No, I don't think that's very useful. I think you have to be very careful when you're talking about people with disabilities. And I don't think she was careful, and I don't know her enough to say she's not being honest. But I'm going to tell you, it sounded bad.
So hopefully she gets the message from Van Jones and the rest of the party, rather. But I don't believe they will, and I don't believe she will, because I don't think they care. Because just today, in this hearing in regards to NPR getting defunded, here's what she said.
They don't care about emergency management, and they don't care about free speech, all of which are harming American people. In fact, I'm going to skip off real quick.
You guys don't care about free speech. Then Kamala Harris, didn't we just catch her and react to a video of her saying that Twitter and all of these social media sites need to be have government oversight and regulation? We heard Hillary Clinton say the same thing. John Kerry did a seminar on how like social media is dampering the government message from getting out to the people because too many different influencers and too many, like, they don't want free speech. That's why they got rid of TikTok. Like, what is she talking about? Free speech? Didn't they just get on it? Isn't like a lot of these social media platforms, isn't RFK shadow banned for his free speech? Didn't Mark Zuckerberg go on the Joe Rogan podcast and talk about how free speech was under attack under the Democratic regime? Elon Musk released the Twitter files. What is she talking about free speech?
Quick, because they have tried to come for you, Miss Mayor, and I just want to clarify, you did not work for NPR when those statements were made, did you?
That is correct, Madam
And to be clear,
I cannot listen to this ghetto lady no more. All right, y'all, we gonna come back probably in the morning and